Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 52 of the Absolute Scenes podcast. I'm Tom Rouse. I'm joined by my cat, Scout, Absolute Scenes Rouse, and my co-host, the beautiful Billy Roach. How are you doing, Billy?
I'm good. I'm glad to hear that the poll name did get in there. It obviously took some convincing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's well done, Tom. You got it in there eventually.
Exactly. We've got to give the people what they want. But we'll start off just, first of all, just to push the Movember boat out on the last couple of episodes. There'll only be 2 more episodes in Movember. If those of you who are watching on YouTube may or may not be able to tell, because I did the 77 Club podcast yesterday on Zoom, and they said, Tommy, are you doing Movember as well? Which on the 18th of November is a bit of an embarrassment. You should be able to clearly see that I'm doing it by now, but they couldn't.
I mean, you can't really even see mine unless I come really close.
Yeah.
You can't see, and I have a beard.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So just to let you all know that we are raising some money for Movember between the two of us. For every listen that we get on Spotify, Acast, Anchor, all those podcast platforms, we're donating £1 towards Movember. So we've raised quite a bit of money so far, but if you share the podcast, that will help us out greatly. But have you been up to anything interesting this week, Billy? Have you seen anything interesting or anything to mention?
No, it's been a pretty standard week off the top of my head. There's no football. There has been football,
Yes.
but it's been all internationals, and everyone switches off from that. I got called into work on Monday, which is normally when I have a day off, because there's been people off. There's one of the members of staff has had a baby. He's off on. He hasn't had the baby. His wife has had the baby. So he's off on paternity. So that was, you don't know when that's going to happen. So I think it was a bit earlier than expected. So I've been called in to do that and things like that. But yeah, it's been pretty standard week. I'm a Celebrity started back, so that's obviously taking up my evenings. Have you been watching, Tom?
No, I was going to say, what's it been like now that it's in the land of your non-forefathers?
It's quite good, actually. I think the fact that one of the main celebrities, I will say, the main celebrities in quotations, he's done all the trials basically. He's from Burnley, that's gone down pretty well, because I don't know if you've seen the clip, but he goes to his happy place and he just goes happy place, Turf Moor, happy place, Turf Moor, and obviously at the moment that's not a very happy place. For some people it is.
It raises the question, Billy, if you were in a coffin with spiders being thrown at you, what would you think of? Where would be your happy place?
It would probably be the Maldives, because obviously we used to go there quite a lot when I was a child. So that would, I think, probably be my happy place. Tom, I'm presuming Molyneux?
Yeah, I was trying to think of something that's not Molyneux, but at the moment, that's what I'm missing the most. The place that I'm missing the most would be Molyneux, I think.
I think that says a lot, because obviously, for me, the place that I want to go to would be travelling, and obviously the place you're missing the most is football. So I think it is testament to us as people that is the thing that we're missing the most. You're obviously missing going, which you do. You go every week and stuff. For me, planning to go on these trips and stuff. So yeah. I think that's.
Well, it's like I was talking to Harry on his YouTube channel on Saturday, I think it was, and then on the podcast yesterday, just about that's what people are missing. They're not missing the football so much. Everybody can see the football, as good as they could before, if not better. Certain grounds you have terrible vantage points, but we're missing the camaraderie that comes with the people you sit next to, or the routine of going with the same people, or all that sort of stuff. The before and the after the game is what people are missing, which my dad wrote about in a beautiful poem called Matchday Gold, which was read out on BBC WM in the first lockdown. So if you want to listen to that, it's on. So it's out
the OG lock. Yeah, the OG lockdown.
Lockdown 1.0. But yeah, you touched on it just now. International football. Have you got any thoughts on Scotland qualifying? Do you have any sort of opinion towards them?
Well, with my sister's fiance being Scottish, and he has appeared on the podcast briefly. You might not have understood him with this strong Scottish accent, but yeah. So I know. I'll be honest, I didn't watch it, but but I know we had a text. I don't think any of us in this house watched it. We had a text the following morning saying that Xander spent the night crying in joy as a result of it. So, which is, I think that's it. It's testament. It's similar to the Welsh. A couple of years ago when they reached the Euros as well. Is it 24 years? I think since Scotland reached
1998. 98 it would have been, so I don't know what that is. 22 years.
22 years.
Yeah.
So that would have been a World Cup then, I'm presuming.
It was France 98, they had Brazil in their group. But before our lifetime, they would always qualify because Celtic and Rangers were so strong. You go back to the 60s when Celtic won the European Cup. That was, the Lisbon Lions, where all the players were born within 10 miles of Celtic Park. That's the peak of Scottish football. But they always used to qualify. And then, of course, there's the famous game in 96 with Gascoigne scoring, David Seaman saving the penalty, Uri Geller moving the ball. Did you also see that video of Uri Geller helping Scotland win the penalty shootout? Did you see that?
No.
So the story from 96 was that he was over Wembley in a helicopter and with Michael Jackson, of course. And
of course.
He could see that Scotland had a penalty, and he wished that Scotland would miss this penalty. And if you do watch the penalty back, Gary McAllister runs up to take the penalty, and as he's going to hit the ball moves ever so slightly. But it must have been the wind. Surely it wouldn't have been Uri Geller's mind tricks.
Don't know what you're presuming there, Tom. You're doing a lot of ifs and buts.
So I think as a moment of redemption for him, he was stood in front of the television when Serbia stood up to take their last penalty, and he was saying, they're going to miss. And then Marshall saved the penalty, which meant that they qualified. But what I did find was weird was that when he did save that penalty, he stood there for ages because they were checking every penalty on VAR. So he didn't celebrate because he thought, well, I'd probably come off my line by half an inch, and therefore we haven't qualified. But it was actually quite nice to see that it did come true, and it wasn't.
Yeah, it did stand
by that.
So now you're telling me that Uri Geller is now going to have to go and redeem himself with Serbia because he's obviously just passed it along. That's the next thing. It's just going to be the next time out. It's just going to continue to go on. But they're in the same group as England, I think.
So somebody I work with now has got tickets for that game if it goes ahead as planned. But I think we may have mentioned it on a previous podcast that the whole tournament could be happening in Russia. So it might not be Wembley. It might be Nizhny Novgorod where the game happens. So we'll wait and see.
Great pronunciation there, Tom. Well done, as always. But yeah, no, it is good to see. It's always good to see the home nations. It was unfortunate that the islands, as in Northern and Republic, were unfortunate not to qualify. But it is what it is, and hopefully it shows testament to British football, bouncing back, as it were. But yeah,
have you been put up to saying the word testament as often as you can today, Billy? Because that's about the third or fourth time you've said it.
Damn it, Tom! You're on to me. I think it's because basically my year 11s are writing an assignment at the moment, and I'm trying to get them rather than just using "this was when they did this." Trying to get them to expand their vocabulary. I used breadth the other day, and they were like, "What? What does that mean?" Yeah. I was like, "Oh Lord, here we go. This is good." Yeah. So this is what and but I am trying, Tom. I'm trying.
Yeah.
But
So the next topic for discussion is the Sainsbury's advert. I did text you about this morning, and quite frankly, I'm disgusted by it because I'm not represented at all because I am not a Scouser, so I can't. I can't see myself in the advert. Do you know what I mean, Billy?
Empathise.
Do you know what I mean?
Is it empathise?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean, though? Do you know what I mean? I'm not a Scouser, so how can I possibly see myself? I'm not represented in that advert. I think it's disgusting. What do you think, Billy? I'm not a Scouser.
I think we might need to put a disclaimer.
Yeah, just to be really clear.
At the start of this podcast.
There are two Sainsbury's adverts currently out. One has caused a lot of unrightly has caused a lot of controversy. There's no reason for it to have had controversy.
No.
And there is a second. I'm referring to the second one that has received no controversy because the second advert, the first advert is, they're both quite nice adverts and they're phone calls between family members.
You're fumbling over yourself there, Tom. You just keep going backtracking. So do you want to start again, Tom? What was the first one? Tell us about the first advert because you've just gone bouncing back and forth.
Sorry. The first advert was they're both quite nice adverts, is what I was trying to say. They're both about phone calls between family members and
Yes.
played over home video clips. And in the first video is a black family, and they are celebrating Christmas like any British family would. And the Sainsbury's had to turn off comments on their video because of stupid people not just coming back with, I'm not represented in this video, this doesn't represent me. Well, I'm sorry, if you are defined by a Sainsbury's advert and what you see in a Sainsbury's advert, and you can't work out who you are or what you represent through anything else other than a Sainsbury's advert, then you are pathetic. You're right there, Billy.
Yeah, I could hear something, and I don't know what it is. I could just hear this like scratching. I don't know whether someone's coming to the caravan behind me.
Oh dear.
Well, but
Ghost Watchers here with Billy Roach. And the second video is the same kind of video talking about Christmas traditions, but it's a Scouse family talking to each other, or a Northern family. I can't work out exactly what they are. And I imagine that the third one perhaps would be, an Asian family, or Scottish family, or something like that, because the Great British Isles are a very multicultural place at the minute. There's a lot of different cultures, and we should live together in harmony. But it does seem that when you go on Twitter or when you read comment pages on certain videos on YouTube, that you have this vitriol towards representation of minority groups, which I think is very, very unfair.
Yeah, I think you summed it up very well there, Tom. You managed to do it justice, I think. I hadn't seen it up until you texted me, because I try to avoid as much as I can anything sort of Christmassy until December the 1st, because we are just bombarded with it. Yeah. So that is the first Christmas advert I have seen.
Oh, is it?
Just so you know.
Okay.
I quite liked it. It was quite good. And I know obviously John Lewis is normally the pinnacle of these things, but I thought it was different, especially with the current climate and everything going on. It was testament to I'm trying to get it in, but I don't know how. It's pretty, using the home footage and things like that, and using the phone call and Zoom. The other option obviously was like doing something over Zoom, but to do the phone call and stuff, it was quite unique. It's a different sort of advert, and that's obviously what they've got to try and do and things. Yeah. But yeah, the backlash that they got, it just seems to be anything at the minute. Just seems to be complain. I know we're British, and that's typically what we do. But it's the same. I know I'm a Celebrity got a load of backlash, and they do every year, I think, anyway, with animal rights and things like that. But it just seems to be that's the thing that's getting us through this at the minute. Is lockdown is right. We're just going to complain about everything we possibly can. Yeah. But you're well done, Tom. I thought you did very well there. You summed it up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It was a bit of satire, actually, Billy. The bit at the beginning. It was satire.
I'm just checking.
Yeah. So, so that's that ticked off. I have seen another couple of Christmas adverts today. I've seen the McDonald's one, which people have been talking about. The Amazon one as well. Somebody mentioned a Disney one, which I imagine must be for Disney Plus, perhaps. But none of them have. I think it's been very difficult this year, obviously, because it's not going to be a normal Christmas for anybody, and every retailer's got to advertise their products or their online distribution more than ever, because they need to, and they've got to sort of capture the mood of the nation, which is not at its peak at the minute, and try to.
Well, they said, didn't they? Coca-Cola as well. The Coca-Cola van's not going to be able to tour the UK as it normally does, which is obviously what it is in this. But it's quite ironic, Tom, because we're going to go obviously move on now to something else in a moment, which would probably be the poll, because I'm about to mention it. I nearly did one of the polls was going to be, is it too early to start talking about Christmas? Because I'm one of those people, as I mentioned, December the 1st, and that's when I start, Christmas songs and all that stuff, blah, 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 blah. But I know people who've been, shopping and things like that since the 1st of November, if not earlier, and things like that. So that was going to be the poll, but I thought, no, I can leave it for a week and we'll do that one next week. And then we've had this brilliant poll that I've done instead, which we'll get onto in a moment. But maybe I'll put that in for the poll next week.
I haven't started doing my For some reason I can't minimize Zoom for some reason. So unfortunately I can't play any of the stings today. So that'll be sad. People will be tuning out in their droves now.
Quite odd. I can minimize mine for some reason.
I think I've changed some settings on my computer. Perhaps that might be it. I'll just try doing this. Maybe it will work now. No, still not. It says you can't.
You'll have to sing it, Tom. You'll have to sing it for us.
Okay. It's time for Billy Roach's poll. There you go.
Brilliant.
So talk us through your thinking first of all, and what you found out.
So I was thinking, again, like I've just said, I was going to do this Christmas one, but I was like, oh, should I do it this week or should I do it the following week? And obviously you had been the theme for the past few weeks. So I was going to text you to see if you had something else that you needed deciding in your life, Tom. But then I saw that was what was trending on Twitter. So this was, I think, 3 on Twitter, trending worldwide when I posted this. And I thought, oh, we'll do well. We'll spread the podcast out. It'll reach the masses then. Once again, Tom, I've done fantastically well with my number of votes. I'm back with the bang. So yeah, I asked the question: what was your first social media account on? So where did your social media life begin? That was the question. I didn't obviously come up with the question. Someone else had come up with it, and it was hundreds and hundreds of comments, and it was trending. So I thought that's fine. I'll just put it in. We got 3 votes. A huge 3 votes. So it's going to go down very well. So basically I asked whether it was Facebook, MySpace, Bebo, and I think I did Instagram with the 4 that I did. I've realised now afterwards, I posted this on Twitter and didn't put Twitter as down as one of the options, which obviously then probably didn't go down very well either. So I'm blaming that for the reason that it didn't reach the masses, because Twitter thought, hang on, he's posted the poll and not put us in it, and they just blocked it.
Yeah, you disturbed the algorithm.
I did, or whatever it was. But it got me thinking, Tom, can you remember, I spoke to my year 13s, year 12s about this today as well, and they don't remember Bebo or MySpace or anything like that, MSN and things like that. It's, changes and stuff. Go on.
That's what I was going to say. More so than any of those, MSN Messenger I used a lot from 2002, I suppose, to sixth form. I probably was still using it. 2008, 2009. We probably had Facebook then, but it was in a time when people were crossing over from things like MSN to Facebook. But definitely MSN Messenger was everything.
The thing.
In Key Stage 3, everything. And then it probably wasn't until, I don't remember, I had a MySpace. I definitely had a MySpace. I had several MySpaces as well for bands that I was in. And I voted for Bebo because I can remember having a Bebo account, but I can't remember any aspect of it whatsoever. And MySpace, I didn't particularly like. I remember it being very difficult to sort of navigate. And that's why when Facebook came, it was so simple for a stupid man like me. It was a godsend. What about you, Billy? What did you?
I had Bebo, but I don't think I had Bebo until I was in year 10 potentially.
Right.
I had and then MSN and things like that. And then got Facebook as well. I think just before we went to uni, or like when I started sixth form. Because it's easy to forget that it's all on our phones now. This was all on a laptop. You didn't have it on your phone or anything like that. I remember one of the boys getting notifications, like text messages to his phone when he received something like on Facebook or whatever, or received a message and stuff. I'm being blown away by this.
Yeah.
But it's just mad to think that this is only, 12 years ago, and how it's like how social media's progressed and stuff. But yeah, I saw it trending. Go on.
Even when we were in university, I remember getting a phone that had, I don't know, you probably remember the phone that I had. It was like a pound shop BlackBerry. It was a Nokia, but it had the keyboard, full keyboard underneath the thing. And you could text your tweets out. So I used to text Twitter. It was like a 5-digit number. And I've got hundreds of tweets from when I was just out walking around Carmarthen, and I just text this number. And that's how you do it. Then again, that was only that was not even 10 years ago. That would have been in 2012. Probably I was still doing that. Which, it's very, very scary how fast things have moved. And then you think about the next 10 years, and what can possibly happen, because you think of all the problems that social media has caused for children nowadays and for teenagers. I can't imagine having to grow up now with the pressure of expecting to have things on social media and expecting to have nice photos with your friends, even when you're 10 years old. It puts pressure on parents for whatever stupid reason, or the parents are putting pressure on the kids to have these beautiful family pictures up all the time.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I know. So my brother, he's very reluctant in regards to having photos and things like that because of them being posted on social media. Whereas when we were younger, it was you had a camera, a disposable camera or whatever, and then you took them and then you took it down to Boots or whatever and got them developed, and you didn't find out until months later that they were all crap.
It was a good picture.
Yeah. So whereas now it's different. I haven't got it with me, Tom. Speaking of photos, I know we're going off topic again here. I don't think it's in it. No, I have left it across. I was meant to bring it over. I had a parcel delivered to Tom the other day. I can't remember if I mentioned it to you last week about me going to have it done, but I went and had my photo done and my new passport arrived.
You did, yeah. Now, what colour was your passport? Because a friend of ours, Ruth, put a picture up on Instagram, I believe, and it looked like she had a dark blue passport.
Yeah, I've got. It looks, but it's either really navy, dark navy, or almost black. It's that darker colour.
So I must have had one of the very last red passports, because I think I had mine back in January, and it's the old maroon. EU red. So I've got that for 10 years.
But it doesn't have the EU.
No, it doesn't say European Union.
Yeah, so mine doesn't either. But yeah, I was going to flash it for you, but I've forgotten it. Thank
goodness that we've got those back, Billy, because I was really worried about those blue passports, and that's why we voted for Brexit after all, wasn't it?
Again, Tom, you're digging yourself a hole again.
Satire. I didn't vote for Brexit, but people did for that reason. But anyway,
cool.
I can't. I'm not going to be able to sing the jingle. Oh, let's do the competition next. Actually, the competition that we were inundated with approximately 0 entries.
I'm quite disappointed by this because we shared it on Twitter as well, and I had like 40 views, but no one put in the comments what they thought it was. So I don't know.
Can you play it for us again? Have you got it queued up to be able to play? Let me just give you the capability to share the screen with us.
Yeah.
But, so it was Billy's competition was a small clip of commentary that you had to tell us where it came from, who the sports star was, or what the event was, where it took place. And Billy, are you going to play for us now?
I'm just going to make sure that my volume is turned up to the maximum so you can hear it, because the last time I didn't do that and it caused issues. All right, go away now.
Great podcasting here. Billy clicking off all the tabs.
And again, he eased up on the way to the line. It is a staggering performance from an athlete who has been described as a freak of nature, and he has just run like one.
There you are.
So, my guess, Billy, for that was that it was Usain Bolt in the Beijing Olympics, but I couldn't work out, and I still can't work out whether it's the 100 or the 200 meters. I think I'm probably going to stick my neck out on the line and say that it was the whichever event comes second, which I think is probably the 200 meters. Is it in the Olympics? I don't know.
I don't know. I know the answer, but I don't know the answer to that question.
So because he says he eased up again.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's probably the 200 meters, because I reckon that came second. But he eased up all the time anyway, so it could have been the 100 meters, couldn't it? And he eased up in all the heats. I think I'm right in that it's Usain Bolt, and I think I'm right in saying it's 2008 Beijing Olympics, but I'm not sure what event it was. So go on.
I'll give it you, Tom. Seeing as normally you get these completely wrong when I ask you questions like this. It is Usain Bolt 2008. It's the 100 meters. It is when he breaks the record for the world record, and then he then goes on to beat it again. So it's not
the current
world. No, it's the 9.68 record. So I thought, I might catch him out there, and he was thinking that. But well done, Tom. You've done well. You've done well there. So that was. It was just something we could try. I've got another one lined up, ready. If you would like me to,
even if it's just me playing, Billy, I'm enjoying it, and I'm looking forward each Thursday to find out what the answer is.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Another chance. McCoist finds McAllister. Sets it up for McCoist. Oh, yes! Brilliant goal, Ali McCoist!
Right, very interesting. I think I know the team, and I think I could probably guess the era of the tournament. I might need to check if Gary McAllister played for Rangers as well, because maybe it could be that. But I'm not going to give anything away because people can
vote. I'm going to play. Well, go on. Where can they vote? Were they going to try and not vote? Answer.
Maybe it's because I insisted that people emailed us last week. Let's leave it open so you can get us on Twitter. If Billy puts the clip up again like he did last week, we'll cue that up now. We'll cue up nicely for people to answer. But if you just reply to the tweet, and then you can win the prize. It's a really good prize, by the way, but it's a mystery prize. But if you don't answer, you won't win it, will you? So I think that's quite a difficult one, though, Billy. So
yeah, it is.
If you I'll cue it up now. Ready?
Yeah.
If you know what this clip is from, then tweet below to this tweet. Play it, Billy.
Easy header, but another chance. McCoist finds McAllister. Sets it up for McCoist. Oh, yes! Brilliant goal, Ali McCoist!
Okay, so there you go. If you know the answer to that, then reply to the tweet, and you'll win the mystery prize.
Well done, Tom.
You can clip that, Billy.
Tom. We can clip that later. I think that was. I think again, like you said, I think that might have caused issues last week, because obviously the clip that I put in. It was us talking for about 30 seconds and then the video. But there we are. Hopefully now, that works, and we'll go.
So that's another ticked off the agenda. So now it's what everybody comes to listen to. Believe it or not, a man has just put some sausages down his trousers, and somebody's stolen £10,000, and he's left his fingerprints everywhere. Donald Trump's going to wear a mask with COVID all over it. It's time for Believe It or Not. There you go. That's a little behind the scenes. That's how I made that jingle before.
Yeah. But you missed the what normally ends the that jingle.
That is fake. You are fake news.
Yeah, well done, Tom. Well done. Okay, Tom is now obviously doing some gestures which are very similar to the person who says that. So I've got 3 again for you this week, Tom. I've reined it back in. I know I gave you 4 last week, but I've reined it in for 3 this week. Okay, so you ready with your pen and paper?
I am,
because I know you like to write these down. So, I'm scrolling back up to the top. So, sex robot manufacturers to consider sexual needs of elderly people. Belgian racing pigeon sells for £1.4 million, and schoolboys attempt to get married in order to attend. Prom is the word I'm looking for. Prom.
Schoolboys.
Schoolboys attempt to get married in order to attend prom.
Okay. Right then. So I'm going to start off with the sex robot one, because that was very, very vague. You just said sex robot built to help the elderly. In what way?
So the 2 companies, which are called, because I know you're going to ask me this, Tom, Real Botics and Real Doll, okay? Oh, and also there's Sex Doll Genie, are attempting to launch a sex doll specifically designed for the elderly. So obviously at the minute, with COVID and all that jazz, there's obviously a lot of people who are alone and isolated, and they are trying to advertise that these dolls can help fulfill the needs and desires of the elderly as well as the youthful.
Right. Yeah. Very interesting. Do you got any more information about the contraptions? Has it got any pictures, perhaps, or a retail price?
A retail price. I can give you a retail price of between £6,000 and £10,000.
Oh goodness!
Yes.
Is it a real human being?
So they're basically like AI, from what I can understand.
Wow.
They're trying
Alexa.
to. Alexa. They're currently trying to design ones with beating hearts and whatnot. But these are going to
my
be
gosh.
specifically designed for elderly, so it's going to be an elderly person as opposed to a young, youthful person.
So sometimes the heartbeats may stop.
Yeah. So they're obviously
Oh,
realistic as possible.
That's mad.
Yeah.
That is mad. What country did you say that was happening in?
I don't think it actually says. I think it's an American company. They are American companies. Oh, actually, there's a Chinese company as well, which is the Real Botics. So so yeah.
So that'd be something nice, wouldn't it? The USA and China coming together over something at last. You like that innuendo?
In unison.
Right. So the Belgian race pigeon. Did you say he has been sold for 1.4 million, or he's planning to be sold?
Yeah. Belgian racing pigeon, New Kim, sells for record £1.4 million. Again, 2 Chinese bidders. I haven't got their real names, but I can give you their pseudonyms. Pseudonyms?
No.
Pseudonyms. You don't want them?
What do you mean they're pseudonyms?
So it was on a bidding war. So who the people were trying to purchase him. Right. So we don't know their real identities, but I can give you the pseudonyms of them.
Go on then.
Super Duper and Hitman.
Super Duper Hitman. Okay. Now I feel like I've read about race pigeons going for a lot of money, and this sort of amount of money, like over £1 million before. So it does seem plausible. But is there any reason why this particular pigeon has caused such a stir and such a competition between 2 people?
I think it got frantic in the final minutes. So it was.
We've all been there on eBay.
Basically, it seems like that. So these 2 wealthy Chinese collectors fought it out, and he was just the owner. I can tell you the original owner was Dutch, or I'm guessing is Dutch from the name that I've been given, which is Kurt van der Wouwer. Wouwer, I think is how you pronounce it. Is the bird breeder near Antwerp, was in shock when this was announced. So yeah, there's no specific reason, just that it just got frantic in the final minutes, and I think in the last 30 minutes it came down to it. I can tell you the starting bid was £200, Tom.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Well, that's good PR for you from Mr. Van Hoover. What was his name? Van Hoover.
It's Wouver.
I mean, you've made it, Billy, so you can tell us how to pronounce it.
I can do whatever I want. I made all of these up this week.
Yeah. So the last one, then, the schoolboys to be married, or they're trying to get married for prom. So why are they not allowed to go to prom without being married?
So they're not allowed the prom. It's not that they're not allowed to get married. They're not allowed to go to prom because of the restrictions of events, only restricting 30 people. So the way around it is these 2 boys are going to hold a wedding instead. Clever. And allow all their friends to attend their wedding in order to have this prom in quotation marks for those of you listening on the podcast.
Clever indeed, boys. Although they can't have many friends, because at the moment you're only allowed 15 people, 5 of which have to be the official wedding party, as in the bride and groom, the witness, the celebrator, and the photographer. So how have they got around that then, Billy?
Where are you presuming this wedding is taking place, Thomas?
England.
No.
Where is
it? This is in Sydney, Australia.
Oh my gosh. So what are the rules there then?
They're allowed up to 150 people.
Oh, so like a normal wedding then?
Yeah. So they can have a normal wedding outside in obviously in Australia. It's quite warm there at the moment. So yeah.
Oh, of course. So yeah. So that makes sense actually, because I was going to say why is there a prom story now in November? But it does make sense because I imagine. I mean, I don't know. Do you know, Billy, that the school year in Australia does it sort of end now and then they come back again in January?
Yeah. Yeah, so they basically have their 6-week holidays is coming up over Christmas. They have that over Christmas, and then they have like the Easter the 2-week breaks scattered throughout.
Shout out to the 1% of listeners that we have in Australia as well. If you're listening, then do let us know exactly how your school holidays work, please. So whereabouts in Australia then?
I've said Sydney.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't listening. What school do they go to?
Sydney Grammar School.
Do they? Do they now? Okay, right. I think we've heard enough, Billy. We've heard enough of your nonsense. I don't know. I can't understand why they wouldn't be allowed a prom if they're allowed weddings of up to 150 people. I can't understand that. I'm going to do the classic me now and say it can't be this one, it can't be this one, but I'm actually going to go for this one. So, and I must have missed an important question somewhere because that's the other theme as well. And I've listened back to these. You've gone, Tom, you asked me about this in this one, but you didn't ask me about that in this one. And you should have done because that was the reason why it was wrong.
And in fairness, Tom, you didn't answer the questions for me this week as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Last week, you literally went, oh yeah, I've heard about this. And I was like, yeah, Tom, fine. If you want to go with that, I'll stick with that story.
Okay. So my gut is telling me that the sex robot for the elderly must be false because they might be lonely, but is anybody going to be spending up to £10,000 on a AI doll that has a heartbeat? Really? Are there people that lonely and that rich? So that's my guess, Billy. And also, I think the big giveaway was USA and China working on it together. There's no way at the moment they'll be working on something so trivial, Billy. Go on. Okay. Tell us.
So, New Kim, the racing pigeon, was sold for 1.4 million. That is correct. So well done.
I always get one right.
You always get. I think that's the aim of the game, Tom. Last week you got 2 right because there was 4. But yeah, the schoolboys didn't get married, but they did hold a wedding. So you were right there, Tom. So the fake story is the sex robots.
Yes.
However,
at last,
there is truths within this story. So I changed it. So there was this story which has come out, which is they are designing ones to help people with the elderly. So they are making these robots, but they're not going to be designed. They're not going to make older people into sex robots, if that makes sense. So that was the lie of it. So they are designing these new robots with heartbeats and things like that, which are selling for $8,000 to $12,000.
Just for everybody.
General sort of thing. So
will you be getting one, Billy? For those lonely nights in the caravan.
We'll start a Just Giving page, and we'll see how we get on.
Yes, if you do want to donate to Billy's,
maybe should we hold off? Obviously, because we're doing the Movember thing at the moment.
Yeah,
maybe we should wait, and we can get it for Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you Billy's parents, if you're listening, you know what to get him for Christmas. Oh well, I hope I haven't got you in trouble there, Billy. But
no, that's brilliant.
Right, so I think we've come to the end, haven't we? I think that's it. We've covered everything.
There's just one thing, Tom.
Go on.
Which I think you've forgotten because it's your turn to recommend something.
It is. I've always got something to recommend, Billy.
Oh, that's
I've always got something to recommend. Always.
So that's the main thing.
People who watch my YouTube channel will know, other than Wolves, I like music a lot. But I've recently, at the end of July or mid-July, we bought a record player, and we've been buying vinyls, like a couple every month. And I've really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed and really appreciated albums in different ways through listening to them on vinyl, because you actually have to make the effort to go and put it on the record, and once it's finished the first side, you go and turn it over, and it does sound different as well when it's on the speakers as well. And to me as well, from I understand how to get music. I can make music on a computer and put it out somewhere. I don't understand how in the 60s or prior to that they were people in a room recording, and then it was pressed into this bit of vinyl, this plastic, and then distribute. How on earth is there music in this plastic disc? It's mad. Like CDs, I can even sort of get, but this is just a big bit of plastic that you put a needle on, and then there's this music that appears. It's magic.
There you are. Anyone who knows the answer to that, tweet us, email us, so Tom can put Tom out of his misery, or don't, because it'll just bug him even more, which is what I'd like to do.
So there's a few questions that people need to get back to us then. So how on earth do vinyls work? The second one is, what is your happy place?
Yeah.
So mine, Molyneux, Billy, the Maldives, different places for different needs. And then, I don't think I've got any other questions. Is that it?
The clip.
Oh, oh gosh, yeah, Billy. Oh my goodness, Billy. Yeah. Oh goodness, the competition to give away this really special prize that I just have over here. And one last thing before we go, so Billy, I've been playing Football Manager a lot. I haven't live streamed much of it because nobody's interested. Literally, I was doing it and there was 0 people watching because I've noticed as well. I don't like talking when I'm playing it. So it's very, I sort of mentioned halfway through one of the streams, I was like, I could make these as boring as possible and literally just sit and play as I play. But I thought there's no point doing that. So I'm currently managing Dover Athletic, which we talked about last week as a bit of a poll. I did put a poll up myself and the poll came back with that I had to choose a non-league team. So the non-league team I chose was Dover because a friend of mine, Robbie Gates, who again has appeared very, very briefly on the podcast, he is a Dover Athletic fan. And one of the last games that I went to before lockdown was Dover Athletic against Solihull Moors. And I've got them top of the conference at the minute, which is well above their expectations. They were supposed to be fighting against relegation, but 12 games in, we're doing really, really well. A very direct Route 1 style of play. But it's quite enjoyable because I haven't played it probably for a while. But because there is literally nothing else to do at the moment at the weekend or at after school, it's been quite a nice relief and release to be doing that. So that's another recommend as well. And also it's coming out on Xbox soon. It's coming out on Xbox, but I think you have to buy it again. And I think if you have Xbox Live, then you can sort of transfer your game. You can play it on the computer and on the Xbox, which I haven't got, and I don't really fancy paying £15 a month or whatever it is to have Xbox Live to be able to do that. But get Football Manager as well.
There we are. 2 for the price of 1 this week, Tom. You're on fire. Yeah,
exactly.
And you got the news. I think that's the main.
What a night.
Fake news.
I think on that note, on that bombshell, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much, everybody who's listened. Thank you, everybody who's been listening for a long 52 episodes now. Very, very long time, but we're going to keep on going. I think we're hitting. I think we're just coming into our peak now, Billy. I think we've got a format. We're enjoying it, and hopefully people will enjoy it enough to share to other people. There will hopefully be a logo on the podcast next week. It is coming. He's just finishing my logo for my YouTube channel before he sends them both over because they're in the same invoice. But anyway, that's different news for a different conversation. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. Cheery bye. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.